You know, the moment you arrive here at Craigieburn, you know you're in for something pretty extraordinary. The garden's reminiscent of Nepal, it's swathed in prayer flags. But the story of how it came to be is just as extraordinary. 20 years ago, Janet Wheatcroft was on a plant collecting expedition to Nepal. Whilst crossing a river, she was caught in a landslide and would certainly have died had it not have been for the bravery of her guide and Sherpa, Dawa.
The moving thing was not the fact that he saved my life, which he did, but the fact that if he couldn't save my life, he was jolly well going to go down with me. You know, he'd been told to look after me, and that's what he was going to do.
Because of my job and my responsibility, I always want to do the best. I just want to do my duty, my job.
So you met in very dramatic circumstances. How did you end up here together making this garden?
Dawa came over on holiday because I thought I owed him something. And he just started to help me a bit, and I realised straight away that he had a real natural talent.
Having discovered a shared love of gardening, they formed an even greater bond and came up with the idea of making a Himalayan garden together. So Dawa and his family moved to Scotland. 20 years later, Dawa's pride and joy is what he calls his Sherpa garden.
He doesn't really like me having a lot to do with his Sherpa garden. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, you must show me this Sherpa gorge. I really want to see the plants in that. Can we go and have a look?
Okay.
You lead on. The gorge has similar microclimatic conditions to Dawa's homeland in Nepal, and he immediately saw it was the perfect place to create his Himalayan garden.
I always want to make one Sherpa garden. I said, I'm going to make Sherpa garden here. I'm going to get every single plant from my home. I finished this about 4 months. No machine, no any special tool.
4 months?
4 months. And
just using Sherpa power?
Yes, using my power. I grow food in the mountain. This is nothing for me.
Not only was it hard physical labour in a very tricky location, but some of the plants were notoriously difficult to grow in Britain.
Every single plant I brought from home, I never lost one single plant, and they're happy.
The aracemas are amazing, aren't they?
They're amazing. They're coming very, very strongly.
And they're just spreading by vegetation, are they? They're just sending out runners?
They are tuber, all like
tuber.
potato, yeah.
One jewel of the Sherpa garden is the Meconopsis, the Himalayan big blue. It's notorious for being difficult to grow, but in Dawa's garden, it's prolific. There's no other colour like it in the flowering world. Unsurprisingly, they're incredibly desirable plants and people want to grow them. But it does require quite specific conditions. Moist atmosphere, so it's not just about the rainfall, it needs that moisture as well, and I can feel that here in the gorge coming off the stream. It also needs well-drained woodlandy soil and semi-shade as well. So as desirable as it is, if you haven't got those conditions, it's possibly not the right thing for you. Now, what do you think this is? A geranium? That's what I thought it was. It's actually a primula, and I've never seen this plant before. It's absolutely gorgeous, this wonderful, delicately cut foliage, beautiful pink flowers, great ground cover. You know, what's so lovely about Craigieburn is it's packed full of all these little treasures. Every little nook and cranny seems to be full of something interesting and exciting and things that I haven't seen before. The gorge is unique, but you can't underplay the rest of the garden at Craigieburn, where Janet's love of plants is evident. I love that peony greedy eye there.
Yeah,
pink
it's a
flowers.
beauty, isn't it? Lovely thing, really beautiful.
I've been really taken by the Meconopsis and the aracemas and the cardiac, because you can't fail to be taken
I mean,
by,
they're supermodels, aren't they?
They are supermodels. But equally, I've been just as taken by the ground cover because it's so effortless. It just all sort of merges together.
There's a particularly glamorous blue clover. It's a bit short of flowers.
And the colour of the intensity, I mean, I've never seen a blue clover, and I can imagine very few people would imagine it
Parakeetus
exists.
communis. You see it on riverbanks in Nepal.
There's a very beautiful strawberry in the gorge with really glossy leaves, and I just love the glossiness.
Now, I don't think anybody else in this country grows that. It's Fragaria daltonii, and that I think that came back as a passenger with some plants that we brought from Nepal, because it's a little spreader like most strawberries. And we didn't know we had it, I think, until, I mean, we put the plants into quarantine when we got back, and it sort of popped up.
For me, the most interesting gardens are the ones that combine beautiful planting and a real sense of atmosphere. And Craigieburn has both, but it's also shot through with the personalities of the people who made it. And the planting is exquisite.